I got that.
Very much our own style.
I also, every weekend, I'm just going to be honest, I'm going to drop the one clippers on the sides.
High and tight.
I have become my own hair stylist, but I missed a spot in the back.
Yeah, and I'll help you with that later.
No one can see the back, people.
I did my own roots.
Yes, you did.
I did my own roots. I was very nervous, but I watched some YouTube videos, which is where I find the answers to everything in my life. I feel like getting your roots done without any like highlights, it's a little darker than what I would like it to be.
I'll give you a highlight.
What's that mean?
It's like a compliment in quarantine.
You're gonna give me a highlight?
Yeah, no. It just means that every once in a while I'll just be like, you light up my life.
Okay.
That's a highlight.
I just was proud. I've covered up the grays-ish. There's still like one right there. Don't look too closely. It's fine. Don't look.
I've got gray everywhere and it's just handsome.
But it's like a silver fox on you. On me, I look like old Mother Hubbard.
Went to the cupboard.
Yeah, her poor dog wanted a bone.
What are you going to do?
I don't know. Can we... tell about your movies.
All right, but here, real quick. All right, I want to talk about organization, but I just have to encourage you, people. I have found some joy in one thing, and that is taking the boys through a walk down memory lane in the movie department. On back-to-back nights, we had Bill Murray bringing us joy. We first watched Groundhog Day.
Yep.
It totally and completely holds up. Y'all, Groundhog Day is a fantastic movie for you and your kids to enjoy it. But then last night and the night before, we split it into two parts. We watched Ghostbusters. And I am telling you, there's that sequence where she says, "Bing, got one." It returned me to my childhood.
I am 37 and I can admit
Don't
that
do
I
it.
have never watched Ghostbusters in my whole life.
Where were you last night?
I was reading a book about a duke who was wounded emotionally, and then he fell in love with a wallflower who was stronger and more resilient than you'd think.
Been there,
and,
done that.
He was seeking her out because her brother was his mortal enemy. And so he wanted to marry her so that he could seek vengeance through their marriage, but then he accidentally fell in love.
Here's the bottom line. I don't know what
That's
that
what I
was.
was
I don't know what that was. But tonight, to keep the streak alive, we're going to watch What About Bob?
I do love What About Bob. I love
What About Bob is one of my favorite movies.
Richard Dreyfuss is incredibly, right? Isn't it Richard Dreyfuss?
It is Richard Dreyfuss.
He is underappreciated.
Oh, he's a legend in his
Mr. Holland's
time.
opus is arguably...
I could cry thinking about the sequence in Mr. Holland's opus
10.
where his son sings the song to him.
No,
Beautiful.
he sings it to Cole.
He sings it to Cole. Beautiful, Cole. Oh, get out of here.
Oh my god.
Get out of
when
here.
all the kids come back and they all play their instruments and the governor is the girl who can play clarinet.
He did have a wandering eye though for a second.
What? He
Mr.
did.
Holland had a wandering eye.
With what was her name?
Her name was Trollope.
Rowena. Why do I know all these people's names?
You know that her name was Rowena?
Let's see if I'm right. What will you give me if I'm right?
I will give you
Holland's
a highlight.
Opus IMDb.
Let's see. Mr. Holland's opus was amazing.
1995.
95.
It's been a long time, you guys.
25 years since the opus came out.
Okay. Rowena Morgan.
Wow.
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 Wow. Wow.
Congratulations.
I have a really weird memory.
That
for
is so
random
bizarre.
facts. Well, doesn't he write a song to her and it's called Rowena's Music or whatever, and that's his wife finds it and she's like, "Who's Rowena?"
Oh, I don't know.
And then later the wife goes to watch the musical or whatever and she sees that
I will
the lead
never,
girl's name is Rowena.
ever write a song for anyone but you.
Don't you dare.
Period.
This girl's cute too. I mean, we're going off.
Jean Louisa Kelly.
That's not.
That's
That's what she looks like now?
I don't know.
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
it's been 25
Remember her
years.
though from Uncle Buck?
Oh, she was amazing
Yeah,
in
that's what
Uncle
I'm
Buck.
saying.
Uncle Buck.
But
Does
do you
Uncle
think
Buck
that
hold
girl,
up?
you guys need to look this up on Google, is now her?
Unbelievable.
Wow.
Uncle Buck. Gone too soon.
He is gone too soon.
John Candy.
So much
Dang
John
it.
Candy. Wait, we're here to talk about organization because this matters.
Oh, this matters.
I hope that you got your class this morning. I hope that you took a deeper dive. But the three things that I want you to think about, here's sort of the Cliff's Notes version, is organizing your space, organizing your thoughts, and organizing your direction. So the first one is organizing your space. I really love that one in this time that we're in because organizing things around the house while in quarantine has helped me feel like I am in control in a world that is fully outside of my control. If you want to read a book on it, Gretchen Rubin has an incredible book called Outer Order, Inner Calm about the science and the habits and the tactics around this idea that if you create outer order in your world, that you can create inner calm in yourself.
I've also liked, because you had him now as a guest on an upcoming Rise episode, but Essentialism is also
that's
like
next week.
Oh, okay.
That's
That's next week. Okay, never mind.
Week 6.
Hold
Next
on.
week's all about what is truly essential. And on the podcast, I have Greg McEwen, who wrote Essentialism, which is such a good book. If you haven't read it.
So good.
But so the first idea is being organized in your house, because I think that your space, your bedroom, your car, your house, like whatever space you get to call your own, that space is a physical manifestation of what's going on inside of your heart. If this feels like it's in chaos, then it's reflected in the space that's around you. And just the act of putting things in order is a hack to help you feel like you're a bit more in control of what's going on.
I also think too, like in these times where everything feels so abnormal, creating normalcy with the way that you can organize is something that is, it's a mental hack, because as much as we're going to keep saying it, like this illusion of control is something we believed in before this event. Now that we know that control is outside of our hands, we can control how we organize things, and that helps ground us back into something that feels, anyway, a little bit like there's more normalness.
Yeah, so if you're just joining us, we are talking about organization this week. It's part of our next 90-day challenge, and how the idea that being organized in your personal space can make you feel more centered in your life. I also feel like, I don't know if any of you guys feel like this, but I feel like our house has never been so lived in.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that in a sort of negative, like wear and tear kind of way. I mean that in I'm so appreciative of like every table, every sofa, our bed. Like I just know our house in a way that I never have, because it's all we have.
Yeah.
There isn't any distraction of sort of leaving this space. And so I'm so much more appreciative and doing things that I wouldn't normally do.
I will say too, as a motivationally at times challenged human being, the just simple act of getting to check something in the organization space off of my list creates a little bit of momentum that wouldn't, like if I didn't do it, self-starting sometimes as a challenge for me is harder. But if I can just go make the bed, right? Like make the bed this morning, I've accomplished something.
What's that guy's book?
Reminding myself that I can accomplish things.
It's literally
Captain
called,
Admiral,
Make the Bed.
Yeah, it's
or
Admiral
Make Your Bed.
McRaven.
Make the Bed book.
I think it's called.
There's also a TED Talk, isn't there?
Yeah.
Make Your Bed by
Admiral McRaven.
Oh, wow, you knew.
Oh, I know. He's done.
Okay.
I mean, like if you haven't seen Admiral McRaven's commencement speech,
Oh, is it a speech?
do that for yourself today. He made an entire book about this idea, but like when you make your bed, it starts you on this path of accomplishing small things. It's not about like hyper productivity, but it's just like you start your day confirming that you can do something. You go through your day, hopefully building on some of the momentum, and no matter what happens during the rest of the day, you will return to that made bed as a reminder of what you were actually able to accomplish in a way that helps you go to sleep, just reminding yourself that you can accomplish things, you can do things.
I also feel like organizing forces you to slow down, and it forces you into the moment. It forces you to be here now, right? So if you have to clean, if you have to make your bed, if you're, scrubbing the toilets or whatever, as much as that's not my favorite job that's ever happened, it definitely makes me have to be present in where I am instead of sort of thinking outside. I was listening to a podcast this morning about inflammation and foods that we eat, and inflammation in the body and brain fog, and I have forever been obsessed with this idea because there's so much required of me in this work, and I want to be a good mama to these 4 babies, and I want to be a good partner, and I want to be a good leader at my team, and in order to do that, I want to be functioning at the highest capacity that I can, and that includes making sure that just mentally I'm functioning well. And so I was listening to all of this conversation about just paying attention to the foods that you eat and how they make you feel, and did they add inflammation, did they give you indigestion, whatever. Like, your body is constantly telling you whether or not something works for you. And there was something super powerful about that reminder of, like, as silly as it sounds, like, it's almost like organizing your food in paying attention to what you're putting in your body makes you slow down.
Yeah.
And it makes you be present, because you have to pay attention to what you're taking in, and then you also have to pay attention afterwards to your body's response to it. And we are blessed with, if you are someone who is lucky enough and privileged enough to be in quarantine, then you, I hope, have a little extra space to kind of think about the things that you haven't before and organize your space, your nutrition is. The next one was your thoughts. So I talked about this in the class today. If you guys haven't watched it yet, your email should have come out this morning. If you are not signed up for our thing, you totally should. It's 100% free. Go to theholliscode.com/next90. The idea of organizing your thoughts was about journaling. So this is something I've done for a really long time, and it has been incredibly powerful for me to help me just organize what I'm thinking and feeling. And you started journaling recently, and it was a big deal for you.
Yeah,
As someone who has never.
I had been super taboo. This is weird. People that journal are hippies, and they're not. I've become someone who journals, and I don't have any hair. But the headline of like the blessing, the gift of journaling is truly about like this opportunity for clarity. Because as I journal, whether it's like in the repeating prompts of a Start Today journal, but really when I just like free form am writing out on a blank piece of paper the things that are inside of my head, it allows all of the things in my consciousness to be dumped on a piece of paper. And then after I hit a certain threshold of time, it allows some of the things that are in my subconscious, my unconscious, to come to light so that I can actually address some of what I am processing, but maybe not even thoughtful of. And it has been so helpful. If you are hoping to get through this quarantine in a certain way, but haven't actually declared what that way is, journaling as a vehicle to try and actually zero in on what you'd hope to come out of this is an awesome, awesome thing.
So it also is a really powerful way, especially if you're dealing with anxiety, to kind of name your anxiety, because if you can give a name to it, then you feel somehow more in control of what's going on. So my best recommendation, here's a really easy tactic for this. Give yourself an amount of time. So I would say at least half an hour, shut down every distraction, turn your phone over, shut the Wi-Fi off, go to a space where you can have 30 minutes free by yourself, and start to write just anything that pops in your head, just like anything else, just writing. Talk about your day. How did that make you feel? Keep writing. And after about 6 minutes, you're going to think that you don't have anything else to say. You're going to be like, well, I covered that topic. I talked about all the things. And normally what we would do is close the journal and walk away. And you've walked away before you ever really have started to unpack what was going on. So my advice is sit there for at least 30 minutes, and you're going to get to 6 minutes. You're going to run out of things to talk about. And then you'll have 2 minutes where you sit there staring at nothing, and all of a sudden a new idea will pop in your head, and you just keep going. And the real meat, like the true way that you start to unpack what it is that you're thinking and feeling, comes when you force yourself to stay in it. I have worked through so many things in our relationship, things that I'm struggling with, and I've worked through so many problems in my business just writing, because it's almost like you get to separate yourself from the feelings, which we rarely have the opportunity to do.
I think the interesting thing is, it's like you have a feeling, but you haven't actually spent the time to understand where the feeling comes from and why you're feeling it. And I read this book, Stillness is the Key, by Ryan Holiday, also an Austinite.
Really?
Yeah.
Why did we become friends?
Because we became friends. He and I became, people that were talking in the midst of this quarantine just starting to get ramped up. But anyway, the bottom line is, like, every great breakthrough, every big invention, every person that you admire who has built something or has processed things, in a kind of a higher, more elevated way. They've done so in part because of having carved out and made a priority for stillness so that they can actually get to the bottom of what's going on. And for me, it's like I can feel things, and I might be misattributing the thing that I'm feeling if I haven't taken the time to really dive into where does this come from? Why is this? And like the idea, this is again, organization. Organizing my thoughts in some ways is trying to connect the dots between my feelings and what provoked them. And that happens inside of stillness. It happens inside of this hour early that I'm getting up. It happens in like with a pen, which is weird because like for some of us, you're like, I don't like to write. I haven't written in so long. I think writing is such an important thing because typing, in some ways, my brain disconnects a little bit from it because of the way that writing actually brings some words up. Yeah.
Absolutely. The last thing that I talked about in this week's lesson on organization was organizing your direction. It's so weird right now to try and figure out direction, right? Because we don't know. We have no idea. I was talking to my friend Chris and we were just like, how do you even make plans for what? And you can't because there's no way to know what is going to happen next.
Yeah.
So there is this like instinct of like, well, I just will plan for nothing because I don't know what it's going to be. And the reality is that if you plan for nothing, it's going to make you feel even more lost than you do already. So start with organizing your direction, even if it's just how you want to come out the other side of this. And I don't mean like, here are the 15 goals that I want to achieve, or here's what it could just be like, you know what, I'm going to use this time to take care of my health, because that is something that you can affect. Like if you are lucky enough to be in quarantine, that is something you can, you already are, right? If you're in quarantine, you are focusing on your health. You're trying to stay safe. You're trying to take care of your family. And so how do we take that one step further? Or maybe this is the time that you grow in your faith, right? Maybe this is the time that you really dig into your faith and what you believe and how that manifests for you. Maybe this is the time that you focus on your relationship. There are things that you can control, and there is a direction that you can head in. It's just not something that you can head for like external purposes, but maybe there's an important why in that for you. Like maybe you're meant to spend this time working on those things that you can affect.
I think too, you pick a point that you want to head toward and a commitment to stay fluid and agile in how you have to get there, because the idea that you have a clear linear path between where you are and where you'd like to go in a world where there's so much uncertainty and so many things that none of us could possibly predict, there's hubris in thinking it could just be a straight line. So you start by calling where you want to go. You have to know where you're going. But then you have to just stay open to the reality that it's going to maybe require multiple platforms, different vehicles, a turn right, then a turn left, in order to get there, because there are no straight lines in this thing that we're in the middle of. There's just no straight lines.
Yeah. So we are super excited. I saw some of you saying it. This Saturday is our first ever virtual conference, Rise Live, which is all about this idea of courage and leadership. John Maxwell, Ed Milet, Eric Thomas, Britt Barron, Dave, me, Asan, Chris, like Jen Hatmaker, Donald Miller, like this whole amazing collection of leaders who are coming together to encourage you and give you some ideas and tactics for how to navigate this time. It's happening on Saturday. You can find out more details on theholliscode.com. We're super excited to have so many of you joining us. We're super excited. We've done like 500 USO scholarships, 500 scholarships to the Navy SEAL Foundation. We're working with first responders. We're working with essential workers. Like, it's amazing to see like what you guys have made possible for us. So we're super, super jazzed.
It's going to be rad.
Yeah. So if you want to find out more information, it's going to be amazing. It's 8 hours of programming on Saturday, theholliscode.com. Right there at the top, you can hit the tab and find out more details. But if you want something, doesn't cost you any money at all, join Next 90 Days. That is the entire reason we made it. We knew that people would want some resources and some learning. And every single week, you get a video class as well as PDF to download and worksheets and really fun stuff. The community is incredible. We have over 100,000 people on our Facebook group and Made for More. It's right?
We do?
Yeah, it's amazing. It's super amazing, and it's totally free. It was just our attempt to sort of give something back to you that we felt like
we're going through this thing together.
Yeah.
This challenge has been amazing, in part because of the feedback from every single one of you. But man, it's been amazing for us because this community, this connection, these tools, we're using them as much as we hope that you're using them. So thanks for being part of this, y'all.
Yeah, so we have all the stuff to do this week to get ready for Saturday. That's why I attempted to do my own roots. I'm gonna attempt a manicure, but start prepping my speeches. And if you are joining us, can't wait to see you there. And we're sending out details this week about the finale, so get ready to help us with that. And we'll see you here tomorrow. We love you guys. Have a fantastic Monday.
Have a great Monday.
You can only control two things in this world: your attitude and your effort. Show up today for both.